Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. So the fifth day is behind us. The market is officially lower for the first 5 days. What does that mean? Tell you the truth, doesn't mean that much. Okay, because with these 5 down days or the lower market, you've had unbelievable stock action. Actually, I can't say unbelievable. You've had some decent spots where you've had stocks on the move that have made clean breakouts that you could have gotten paid. Even stocks have gone up 2-3 days where you could have stayed with it. But then you have stocks that, unfortunately give you a day one, open up on a day two, and then kind of just fall apart. So you have to know what your commitment is. You have to know, how to maneuver it. If you're playing a big boy stock, a fast stock, you better be in there quick. You better know how to handle it. And you better know where your outs are and know what's cooking. Because as far as the S&P is concerned, you take a look here at the chart, not much is going on. We've talked about all these trends, this one being from November. This is like the macro one. Actually, this goes all the way back. Here's that November one, which we're far above. Okay, and then we have the accelerated one, which we still haven't even touched yet. So with that being said, everyone's trying to, cry as if the market is going to fall apart, be a disaster, crash, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, this was one down day. So if you trade for P&L, okay, which, again, there are a lot of stocks that have made highs here. That was your engulfing day to the downside. Here's your pivot low. Then today, it looked as if we were going to break below, the 8th day, and then at the last minute or the last, 5 minutes, it was a little bit of a buy program taking us right back to middle ground, right back to somewhat neutral, right back in the middle of this channel. So with that being said, we're probably about 0.5% off of all-time highs, and everyone's still calling for a crash. Probably the same guys who've been calling for the crash all the way, all the way, all the way. Did I say all the way? I did say all the way down here. Okay? And again, here is a macro trend. Here's your accelerated trend. Here's your super-duper accelerated trend. Let's break one of those before you can call a damn top. Anyway, with that being said, let's talk about the stock action. So one piece of news came out that there was an investment in Kihu, a stock that a lot of people in the virtual trading floor was talking about. You go to Kihu, that had a nice day. Okay, he had a nice solid breakout move or a nice solid gap and go. You even had a little move towards the end of the day that I played along with. Okay, you talk about 2 parts of a day. Here is part 1. You draw your line for cash flow for part 2, and then boom, nice little trade into the close. Now the question is, can that continue? If you're long it, yeah, why not? Close near the highs. It's got a lot of resistance over here, but nice little day trade depending on how you wanted to do it. Baidu talked about this breakout area. I believe it was close to 181 at the top of my head. And granted, it wasn't clean, and Baidu is rarely clean, but if you went quickly, you made some money. Okay, 184.87 was where it went to. You could have taken trades, done whatever you want. You could still maybe be in some if you want to. It's been hugging the 8th day, a little choppy, but it's fine. As far as some things we talked about in the morning that happened quick, one was Netflix. Netflix talked about the potential of a red dog reversal, talked about, either it's going to hit the 100-day or maybe it opens lower, trades back above 337, and then you could make some money. Okay, it went as high as 345. That's an 8-point trade, and look how fast it happened, guys. Okay, look how fast this went from negative to positive. Boom, instant gratification if that's what you guys look for, and that had it. Okay, and then the rest of the day was wishy-washy, but that was a nice tactical day trade. If you sold Netflix here, or sold it when it broke here, okay, we weren't trapped in it at least. Today was a day to make a little bit of cash, or at least cover your shorts. As far as Tesla, that was a little frustrating, but this too, gave you a quick trade. Okay, we drew this pennant, stock was getting tight, talked about 150.40, I was long overnight. You know what? Look what happened in the first 3 minutes. And I know it happened fast, okay, but that's what happens with fast stocks. If you know the speed, you know how they move, you can go after them. And that was a quick move. If you weren't in it and you wanted a day trade, boom. And if you wanted to add to an existing long, you then could have sold some on the way up and then held some. That did turn into a little bit of a frustrating situation as it kind of bled all the way lower and just kind of held where it had to, but still just wasn't that much momentum. But again, the Dow was down 80 points. But if you were prepared and you watched your levels and was there quickly, you had some quick cash flow, even if you didn't come in, long. And on the flip side, there were some things that didn't work out. One was GoGo. GoGo was a nice trade yesterday, had a day one, opened up, and then failed. You look at GoGo, and you could have chosen your time frame. For me, I was kind of loving and leaving this thing. Here was your long. It opened up once it traded back below the prior day's high of 26.39. You could have trimmed some, and then it should never have given back the top third. Once it gave back the top third, you should have been gone. Now this looks pretty damn ugly where this engulfed the entire breakout move, so hopefully you're not trapped in it and hopefully you maneuvered it, because again, this has been a little wishy-washy. Day one, open up, failure. Get out of the way. Okay, if you're watching the virtual trading floor, you saw within the first few minutes I was out of this thing. Okay, as far as TSO, it happens. Unfortunately, I was in a decent amount of size here. It wound up opening down, and within the first, I'd say half an hour, I just got out of it. I'm not in this to sit in this wishy-washy, mess. I'm in it for what could have been, which wasn't, a close near the highs breakout trade. Instead, it got engulfed. Okay, you had a few minutes to maneuver it. It wasn't great at all. If you wanted to save some money, I think I bought a little pre-market. It came up and sold a little bit to salvage it as it almost went green. Okay, and then it just became a disaster. And even if you didn't sell it there, once it broke the low or the morning low, which was 57.23, that was your spot to get out of it if you were uncommitted to it. And then that also could have wound up saving you, I guess, some money. Let's see how it closed. But anyway, it's still in that channel. It's just not ready yet. So avoid it and wait till the next time it tries. It could also break to the downside. This is a laggard stock. Another stock, just to talk tactics, was VMW. It was in it on Monday. It broke out on Tuesday. It went through Tuesday's high today. And then once it came back below it, that was your sell signal, at least on a tactical standpoint, if you're not holding it for a swing trade. And if you look at VMW, you will see, not the end of the world. Here's your day one to get involved, broke out, and then pushed above, and then came back below, and that's a little bit of a sell signal. Okay, so you could be in tier one or you could be flat. Now you wait to see it hold sideways as your point of reference, okay, and then wait for it to go again. If you look at the 5-minute chart tactically, you will see that it opened up, gave you a nice move. This was the prior high, pushed through, and then lost momentum. Also, so did the market. So with that being said, you could have some outs or you just sit. For me, I had an out, and it gave you extra cash flow actually. So, well, actually, that was right there. I'm sorry. Boom, boom, boom. There was your push through the high, and then it just negated. There was a situation that ignited that also was a different play that just RHAD went, the VMW went. So CRM was something to watch. And look at the the move in CRM. Okay, CRM on the daily, nice tight pattern. Okay, something to watch. You have to have like if-thens. You saw the group starting getting better, so this should have been on your radar. I missed the first part of the move, caught the second part of the move because I was a little busy, but there you go. That was also in the morning note, and I think it was in the morning call. I'm not sure, but it was, I believe, in the morning note. So with that being said, you know what? Dow was down 70. Everyone's complaining about a potential correction. If you traded CRM for a breakout, it wasn't there. Then, there was a little bit of action in some of these optical plays. I am in Sienna, and I'm thinking maybe it can continue. It is a sort of a laggard, but did have a nice day, and closed near the high, so maybe get follow through. JDSU tried, but the market wasn't there. So, these are like little second tier or third tier things that could work. We'll see if they continue. CMG, is setting up. I dabbled a little bit near the close, very, very tight. It's definitely a tricky stock to play, but you did have a wide range bar. It's going sideways. Maybe it wants to make highs, but we're going to need a decent market for that, so put that on the radar for tomorrow. Sony, really nice surprise. Look at the wide range bar there on volume. This descending channel, okay, broke to the upside, closed near the high, so hopefully it can continue up into the 19s. Okay, you put in some volume. It looked like there was a lot of buy volume in there. Towards the end of the day, go basic studies, go volume, okay. It's a big volume, wide range bar. The good book says you take some of that home, okay, for some kind of continuation. I don't know what the hell the company's really doing, excuse my French, but at this point, they woke up here and we'll see. It's got to hold the top third here in order to stay interesting. So if you go to your 5-minute chart, in order for that to be validated, this thing really should not, get below 1790. That would be my stop. Hopefully it opens up and makes life a little bit easier. We shall see. So with that being said, you look at the chart of the SPX. It looks like it's kind of normal. Yes, it's definitely a little bit random. Right now the banks are kind of hard because they've had a big move and they're just consolidating up here. So you know, lately I've been just like trickling, selling some strength, trying to buy some back, and you know, they're trying to figure out what's next. You know, high beta has been a little random where Google, you know, oh, so I bet you that big bearish technician is saying she's dead right now. Meanwhile, you know, what did it do? It opened up again, traded below, and still looks good. You know, I don't know. It just it gets me. I know we're pretty active, or we trade on an intermediate time frame, but I've seen so many different people trying to call a top. So many people looking at these strong momentum names and say, you know what? It's going to correct in 3 to 6 months from now. That tells me right there they're not a trader. Because how are they going to stay solvent shorting a name like Google until it flashes that signal? So they're probably not shorted because they wouldn't stay solvent. You know, all they have to do is refill their ink in their pen because they're probably, you know, can continue to write about it until they finally feel like they're right. I guess it's just a broadening top because that means it's going higher. Anyway, same thing with the market on a lot of these people. Whatever, I'm a little tired and it's a little, you know, today was somewhat of a frustrating day. I'm just listening to all the chatterboxes out there about the first 5 days, about the jobs report, about what January means, about what that happens, and meanwhile, if they're looking at charts and looking at stocks and figuring out what's next, there's been a lot of action out there. It hasn't been the cleanest action because volume's been kind of light and things feel a little thin, but it's been okay. I guess you could say it's been, you know, today was a decent day for Apple. You know, I can't say, you know, exactly what's going to happen next year. But, you know, you do have this descending channel. It showed a little relative strength. It hasn't had 2 up days in a row. I was long here, got, you know, lost money, was long here, came in. Maybe this will be the telltale that, you know, gets through this 545-ish and gets underway and then starts to clear this bigger trend here. I know T-Mobile said they did their best, I think, quarter ever. And I do think that Apple had a great holiday season. I think they're going to be okay in China. I think they're going to have new products. But ultimately, it's not what I think. It's about how the stock reacts. It's still, you know, in this uptrend since the summer. It's hanging here by a thread. Let's hope it gets going, because when it does something like this, we tend to make a lot of money. Or when it does something like this, it's a lot of fun. Or even this. And right now, it looks as if it's trying, but we shall see. That being said, got to catch a ferry. Hopefully you're staying warm. If you did order my 2014 thesis, I do apologize that it came late. I know that I typically try and get it out before the end of the year, and there were 3 ideas on it that happened to trigger out of the 9, but take it with a grain of salt. It's a lot of year left. You have a lot of good trading to happen that I could hopefully guide you through. I want to show you what we looked at in 2012 and 13 and why we were able to stay with the market and find the stocks that showed relative strength during some of those minor pullbacks, and we'll do that again. And we'll try and paint a path. It's a tough spot right here. Last year was a lot easier to pick stocks that were tight, that could have big gains. Now, after last year's gains, it's not as easy. You know, it's more selective. Sometimes it's no trading. Sometimes it's more about, I think, your discipline and creating your lists and following your game plan and money management versus, you know, excess risk. So with that being said, hopefully you get it and you like it. If you don't, it is what it is. And I'll be seeing you tomorrow at the morning call. Have a great night.